Hi, everyone. It just came to my attention that the previous video that I made explaining the full scene assignment, there was no audio in that. There's a little button right here, and sometimes if I grab my headphones to put them on, I will click the button and turn the audio off, and I forgot to check. I'm recording this new one that will have audio, so you can go ahead and listen to that. Let's talk about what this full scene assignment is, and talk about how it fits in terms of relationship to some of the videos that we've watched. So, for the full scene assignment needs to be at least 1,000 words long. So your assignments that you have now were just 300 words long, and you have the option of either expanding upon your short scene assignment or starting with something new. So, on the 300 word assignments that I marked them hopefully pretty extensively. I gave you some pretty long comments about that to think about things moving forward. So in that assignment, I basically just asked you to have a disagreement between two people. And in this one, I picked up on some things that you're doing in there and said, here's how you can kind of expand this and to make it 1,000 words. And when you're adding in that stuff you're adding in to make it 1,000 words is not just going to be more back and forth, but potentially different ways of the characters relating to each other that add some depth of understanding to what's going on here. And let's talk about what that means. So I say, I'm sorry, it says here either way, the first step is look at my comments, right? And so that's what I was just explaining about that. So I say, because the preliminary assignments were so short, right? That was the assignment that I gave you to be short. You had to get right to the conflict, meaning that the characters talk directly about their disagreements from the beginning, and that's what you have to do in a 300-word assignment, right? So you guys did what you were supposed to do there. But I'm saying what I want us to do now when we're expanding. However, now that you have 1,000 words to fill, you have the space to allow the characters to both approach their disagreements less directly, as well as define their desires more specifically. This will help add to the drama of the situation because it will allow the characters' personalities to shine. Sorry, I've got a typo in there. It will allow the characters' personalities to shine. So if we're able to see them, again, not talk about those things directly, right? We can understand something about who they are. And this is something we should understand, that a lot of times people are having disagreements. The disagreements they're having is not necessarily about the thing that they're arguing about. I mean, you know this from your family. If people show up for holidays, people show up for Thanksgiving, let's say, or whatever, Christmas, whatever holidays you might have. When people show up for those holidays, they might be arguing about the food. They might be arguing that somebody's late, where people are sitting. They might have all kinds of arguments about that, but realize, these are families. That means that they've known each other all of their lives, and they really might be having arguments about things that they've been having. This might be adults having these arguments, but they've been having these arguments since they were kids, right? When they were children, they were arguing over their toys. They don't have toys to argue over anymore, and they're going to argue about where people are sitting or who's going to be late and things like that. Who's the favorite of the parent or whatever, and they have other ways of having that kind of an argument, and that's something that adds depth to our understanding of what the characters are going through. So as I say down here as an example, so for example, in the excerpt from Atlanta that we watched, and if you weren't in class and didn't see that, go back and look at that scene. It's on Blackboard in the January 11th section of Blackboard. In the scene from Atlanta, we begin by seeing the characters having a small disagreement over whether to play ping pong or go dancing. And as I say, that's the normal kind of disagreement everyday kind of disagreement couples have that doesn't have to mean much. I mean, people have those kind of, should we do this or should we do that? It's a normal kind of a thing. Should we eat here? Should we eat there? Whatever, which TV shows should we watch? Those are normal kinds of things, right? However, when Daniel Glover, gets upset at Vanessa, Zazie Beetz, for beating him, right, at ping pong, we begin to understand that there are deeper problems between them. Feels as if he's supposed to be in control of everything in the relationship, and when Vanessa beats him, he feels that she is the one in control, right? So realize that this ping pong very quickly turns into, they're like, well, let's just play ping pong. And when they have the ping pong match and she beats him, he takes that very personally, right? Because that says it's not really about the ping pong, it's about his sense of control. And realize that he does have some control in the relationship because they're having the relationship that he wants. And we find that out later on when she comes in and says, is the relationship that she actually wants? So I said when they have a rematch, Vanessa explicitly states that they are playing for the relationship. And when she wins, she doesn't get exactly what she wants. She doesn't get the relationship that she wants. She wants a committed relationship. She doesn't get that what she wants, which is a committed relationship. But she does win control because she now sets the terms, right? She's able to say, if we're not going to have a committed relationship, here's a relationship we're going to have. You're only going to see me if it involves money or our child. Other than that, I'm not dealing with you. And so she sets those terms. And I say, so because ping pong and dancing get introduced, we're able to deepen our understanding of what is happening to them, right? And so it's much easier on some level to be able to understand what they're going through by seeing them play ping pong than it is if they were to try and talk directly about that relationship, right? Because one of the things that happens, we can see in that ending of the scene, if you go back and watch that, we have that shot of her, she hits the ball real hard and she's got this kind of defiant look on her face. There's this way in which she's saying, yeah, I'm in control of this relationship. We're gonna do it like I want to do it, right? And the ping pong helps us see that, and that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for you potentially to do in the scenes that you're going to be creating. How is it you can have them maybe talk about something else, work about something else that enables them to get to that deeper idea? That deeper idea is still going to be there, right? Notice that in the Atlanta scene, they do talk about the relationship. But the ping pong is a way to help us get there, right? It is a way to help us, I think, understand it, who they are, in some level more deeply. Okay, so I say for the full scene project, make sure to give your character something to do or something to talk about that helps us understand their disagreements at a deeper level. And I say make sure to watch the video where I explain these assignments and see more examples. And this is the video where I explain the assignment. So just keep that in mind. And I'm just going to go through and talk about some of the other videos as well. So we didn't watch this one in class, but the one from the show This Way Up, where the one character, Vish, is going to propose to the other character, Shona. A couple of things that I think are interesting about that scene. One is that the proposal ends up happening while they're getting dressed. Vish is dressed and ready to go. He's ready to go out to where they're going to go. Shona still isn't dressed. I mean, she's still in not wearing clothes she wants. You can look in there. I think it's funny. She's wearing these kind of boots, walking around the house. She's not ready, and I think that's one of the things that becomes interesting about that is the fact of getting ready and being rushing and kind of the stress that may cause begins to highlight something about the fact that she's not ready to get married and he is, right? I mean, you can almost see that. So you have getting ready serving as kind of a metaphor, serving as a parallel to what's going on in the relationship. And so having them do something like that helps us understand something about that, right? And understand something about their personality. He is the kind of person who knows what he wants and it's like, I'm ready to go. And she's like, not sure what she wants. She's running around. And so I think that's useful. Another thing, it's a little thing after they get into the argument, she's kind of freaking out and she's like, I think I need a waffle, which is kind of an odd thing for somebody to want at that time, to need a waffle, but whatever. People have their own individual weird things that they want. And I think that's that helps us understand her as a character. She's somebody who she freaks out, and one of the things that calms her is having a waffle, which is kind of funny. But what's even more interesting on some level is that she's like, freaks out, I want a waffle, and he's like, I'll make you a waffle. So in the middle of all of this, when he's ready to commit to her and she's not, you can see something about their relationship, because she's like, I need something to calm me down, and he's like, well, I'll give that to you, right? I will get you a waffle. It's also, you can't see this in the little scene. Vish is fairly wealthy, a lot wealthier than she is, and so he kind of takes care of her in a number of different ways. And so you can see something about the nature of that relationship there, right? He's in many ways more committed to the relationship, not just because he proposes to her, but because he's willing to take care of her by doing things like getting her waffle, right? He's able to kind of set up, willing to set up a house for them, and so that they can move forward. They're also going to have some issues about having children and things like that. He, not surprisingly, he wants them and she doesn't. But you can see how getting ready and that little conversation about the waffle tells us something about their relationship. And again, if you're giving the characters something to do like that, you can, if you give them the right thing to do, we understand what's going on with them more. Another example, if we look at Glengarry Glen Ross, the Alec Baldwin character comes in for the sales conference, and he tells the other character to put that coffee down, right? And realize the coffee on some level is, doesn't matter in terms of the sales, but it's this way that he has of kind of showing his power about them. It gives them something to do that allows us to see that kind of power that he's trying to exert over the other people there. So he's telling you, here's what you can put in your mouth and can't put in your mouth. I mean, that's an incredibly manipulative kind of power kind of a thing that he's going to pull there. So we do something like that. We looked as well at the Rami scene where he's going to be talking to his friend Steve's mom, and yes, they're talking about realizing that Steve is going to die before the mother does. And the thing that really gets her, though, is when he starts talking about things like you're going to have to buy a coffin for him and get a small coffin because he doesn't really need that. I mean, it's just this very specific, detailed kind of a thing like that. And so that instead of just saying, yeah, let's talk about death, let's talk about the specific elements of that. And that really helps. Another way of kind of helping us deepen our understanding there. It's a little different from the things that we do before, but they start to talk about what that thing actually means. Okay. What does it mean for to have the child die before her? You're going to have to pick out his coffin. I mean, that's that's a very specific thing. That's the kind of thing that really ends up driving her over the edge. The more theoretical things of in general he's going to die, it bothers her. But when he starts talking about things like the coffin, that's the thing she can't face up to, and that's when she's going to be leaving. So think about adding those kind of details. If these characters are having a discussion, a disagreement, what are the things or the specific things about on the level of their disagreement that they're having that might help deepen our understanding. I mean, similarly in Rami, we watched in class. If you weren't in class, you didn't see this, but in class when he's having the argument with his girlfriend, and he's going to be filling the condom up with water, we understand what this means in terms. They're having a larger discussion about how their relationship is going to work given their religions, and to have him doing something so specific like filling up the condom with water gives him something for him to do and something for her to react to, and that leads them into that bigger discussion. So again, with all of these, we can think about ways to give the characters things to do or things to talk about that maybe don't directly relate to the idea, but can help us understand the big idea better. Right? So that's what I want you to think about. And in the comments that I made on your shorts assignments, those are the kinds of things that I mentioned to you. So hopefully I was pretty specific about that. So look at those, think about moving forward with those. And again, if you have questions, make sure to email me. And if you have issues like you're not able to see the video, I didn't get many, it was a while before I got comments about the video wasn't working. So if you have any issues like video's not working, anything's not working on Blackboard, let me know as soon as possible. Send me an email to let me know, and then we can sort it all out. So again, remember, we don't have class on Monday, and so we won't be back in the classroom until Wednesday. So I will see you then.